Scully says, I'm eeping at family's house. I want to go home. That's rough.
That's rough and real.
That's rough and real. We've all been there.
So we play a character named Swan. Swan is into nature and fiction. She reads a lot. She writes fan fiction in her spare time. She also likes movies. I forget. Did we just get the recorder? It's just something. No, we've had it, and we decided to like do some filming.
Yeah, I think it was like a gift from her dad or something.
I can't see our levels from here anymore.
For the mic?
Yeah.
Would it have changed?
No, but
oh, okay.
Just, you know.
Okay.
And Swan is kind of a loner, kind of an oddball. You know, she says stuff like, "Oh, Jesus," and talks to her cat all the time. Her cat's name is Pumpkin, is what we decided, which I think got us the Tabby. I believe each name associates with like a kind of cat.
Mm-hmm.
So Shadow would be a black cat, Snowy would be a white cat. And one day she's out just kind of filming. She tries to go return a tape. She had a VHS tape that she needed to return. And she goes to the local like video rental, goes to return it, runs into some of the locals. She's about to move. She hasn't really made any friends in the time she's lived here. She's about to move, and there's these two similarly aged teens hanging out by the ice cream shop. One of them's working there, one of them's just kind of hanging out. You know, awkward encounter, kind of like, yeah, I'll have an ice cream, you know. And then the kind of like local bully as well roams up and is like, "Hey, what are you filming? You should film me and my girlfriend. Isn't she hot? Film us." And you're like, "You're weird."
Well, first what happens, you had gotten up.
See, I don't know.
The weirdo guy's girlfriend, who is one of the character's sisters, his cat's sister.
She's not there yet, Cat.
I know, but I'm just saying.
Wait.
I'm just saying.
Storytelling.
So as Swan is filming, anyway, this like older teen thinks that she's filming her, and she comes up to Swan and is yelling at her and confronting her.
That's right.
She's like, "You're such a creep. You're so disgusting."
And then the boyfriend's like,
and then
"Hey,
the boyfriend comes
you
up.
should film us."
Yeah, and then he's being a creep, and everyone's uncomfortable.
And then Kat shows up and is like, "Back off!" And you're like, "Whoa, who's this?" And she's like this short, you know, got a headband. She's like younger than the rest of the group, I think. And she's just like a firecracker, you know. And she's like, "Shut up, fuck you, man, you piece of shit." And you're like, "Whoa!" And she's like, like they basically all just kind of bully him off. And he's like, "I'm out of here." And then he gets on his bike and goes, but not before throwing your keys. And so throwing the
keys to the ice cream.
And then so it's like, "Oh, I can't leave till I do this. Can you help?" And then that is kind of the inciting incident about how this group becomes friends. They all hang out that night and, you know, help each other. We helped get the keys. And eventually they start hanging out more and more to where they have Swan kind of film their band rehearsal. And that spirals into let's film a music video, and that spirals into them just all this is just them hanging out more and more. This first game is really just them bonding a lot and setting the tone of their relationships. And so you see here we were truthful about our music taste to the group, which was basically like, yeah, we don't know a lot about music, you know, compared to you guys.
I'm more into movies, yeah. Something like that.
Yeah. We in the music video, there's a moment where they're like, I don't know, should we kiss in this part? And like, I'll be Dylan, you be Corey, the bully and his girlfriend. and like, should we kiss? Like, I bet they would kiss. And so we chose to make them pretend to kiss. We didn't say like, yeah, you should kiss for real. But that kind of started those two characters, Nora and Kat, onto a path of being seemingly romantic. And here, just for a visual, this is what they all look like. Nora is kind of a firecracker as well, of just like, comes from a rich family. She's kind of a pretend firecracker, where Kat's a real firecracker.
Yeah.
Where Nora's like talks a big game, but she's kind of
like the most anxious one of all of them, almost.
And then Kat, again, just seemingly like just doesn't care about what happens to her in a way that.
And she's also like, she's very loud, but she's also like sort of the quiet one, like
more introspective. Like she has depth. Like she has more depth than the average teenage girl, you know, like Autumn is the person that works at the ice cream shop, and something we didn't touch on till just now. The story actually takes place in 2 time periods. One in the future when they're like in their 30s, 20s, I think 30s, 40s.
It might be 40s, because I feel like it's like 27 years after or something. They were like 16, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Hi, Biddy.
Probably like their 40s. And you're all meeting at a bar. It's basically the modern day setup. Everyone's meeting together to talk about something that happened when they were kids. So that's the kind of setup, is bouncing back and forth. You're experiencing what happened, and then talking about what happened. So Autumn's the first person you meet with in the future, and eventually, as you can see, Nora does show up as well. But again, going back, so yeah, they're all bonding, they're all getting really close, they're having a good time. All these relationships are getting kind of set up, and then eventually one night something happens and we still don't fully know. Like, that part of the tape is still kind of like weird, and they all forget what happened. But they all are running through the night until they end up stumbling on this rundown, half broken down cottage, basically in the woods. And they all decide this is gonna be our hangout. And so they spend the rest of the like decent chunk of the summer getting it all together, and you play through that as well. We called it Fawn's Rest. And then as things go on, things get a little trippy, and some things that we put up, film with our cameras, causes some weird glitching and some just weird vibes all around. And eventually one of the people, the cat, discovers some like ghost stories around this place and decides to perform a ritual that would bring justice, is what she says, I believe, and to them for all the things that have gone wrong in their lives. And that involves like the bullies and all the people that have wronged them over the years. So they ask us to draw blood. We refused to do that in our gameplay. So it felt like a step too far.
Felt kind of intense, if I'm being real.
But we helped write a song that was going to be part of the ritual. And there's this talk about this big thing that's going to happen at the end of the year. And eventually it's revealed that it's going to be a concert. They're going to perform a concert where they sing, where everyone can hear about, again, the justice that needs to be brought down upon those that have wronged this group of girls. And you learn a little bit more about everyone. Nora's life, her parents divorced, and she's kind of living between the two of them. And right? Isn't that not? Or did her dad die? I think they divorced.
I think they divorced, and yeah, she's just living with one of them.
Yeah.
Wants out of this small town is her vibe.
Autumn is just very much does everything, perfectionist, grade A student, takes care of everyone, but not really quite herself kind of thing. And Kat, you come to see, she has these issues with Dylan and Corey, forget which one is the bully and which one's. I think Dylan's
Dylan's the
the
sister.
sister. Corey is the.
I think so.
But there's like it's all kind of gray, and that's like a big part of this game. It's all kind of gray because even the bully, like you eventually read one of his diaries, and it's like I'm doing this to protect the family. I'm doing this to protect everyone, and you're like, okay, there's some like there's some good in here and even though he's kind of an ass.
Mm-hmm. And you get the vibes that like her family is just really controlling.
Yeah.
And that like something feels off there.
Their family is like powerful in the town.
Yeah.
Their family is like, and hello, fish. Don't worry, we're doing the recap. We're doing the recap before we really get going. So, but yeah, their family is like, they run like the local, like the
It's like a,
what is
it's like hunting ground.
hunting grounds, but also don't they do something with trees too? Don't they like do like
logging or something?
logging maybe?
I don't know, maybe.
But they own land and they own businesses and they're a big deal.
I feel like it's like there's several businesses they own. Like it's that kind of small town, powerful family thing.
And so the family very much feels like the father is running things and is expecting things out of all of them, including Corey, who's kind of married into the family and he's being worked, through the family businesses. And so there's a lot of aspects, right? A lot of things going on. There's stories about, again, ghost stories about the place that they're staying and people that kind of never got quite what they deserved or wanted, and unresolved things. Thank you.
Wow, we fish with the 44 months. Wow. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Look at this. Get the mic set up. So we don't use our wireless mics. You probably didn't watch Split Fiction,
That's true. We had many audio hiccups.
But now we got the mic set up. Coming out from behind the couch, podcast style. And so eventually one night you're having a sleepover. Everyone finally like coordinates to have a sleepover at the
cottage.
Yeah, the cottage.
Looks pretty legit. Thank you.
And during that, you wake up in the middle of the night and Kat's gone. And you walk out and you find her in this clearing. Thank you.
Wow,
50 months.
Shazame.
And the hype train. Thank you so much.
What, do you like us or something?
Thank you.
I don't know. I think it just
that was a glitch.
It just went again.
Or maybe just hype train notification.
Oh, maybe.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. What was that?
Cat disappeared in the middle of the night.
Yeah, and then you find her in a clearing where you've been there before. This is the clearing that you go to is where you perform the ritual where she said, "Let's cut our palms." There's a giant hole in the ground that's emitting a purple light, and Kat is just standing on the other end staring down at it, and you're like, huh?
It's pretty haunting shit.
And then eventually, because you two are out there for a while, and she's like, I feel like we need to give it something, and saying something, you're like, what the fuck? Eventually the other two are like, what's going on? And they're like, oh. And then each one of you basically makes a wish. Except for Autumn. I think Autumn like opts out of.
Yeah.
She's like, this is weird. And so they're all making a wish at this giant hole in the ground. And we ultimately
girlhood.
Yeah, we ultimately wish for strength at the abyss. Every it's like you go through your period, then you go to the abyss and you make your wish.
Yeah, we've all been there.
We wish for strength to take down our enemies, basically, was kind of the vibe. And then soon after that, you have another encounter with Corey. And while they're like fighting him, basically, they're yelling at him, saying, fuck off, leave us alone. And because he's trying to pick up Kat. He's like, your dad told me to come get you. And they're like, leave us alone, fuck off, get out of here. Their eyes, all of them, I think, start to glow the same purple that was in the hole in the ground. And it has some effect because Corey fucks off. He goes, you know what? I'm done with this. Uh, again, this all builds up to the big concert where they're performing this song that's calling out the wrongs of this town. And this is supposed to happen like right towards the end of summer. So right before Swan is also about to leave, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And you perform this concert, but halfway through it, Kat starts like, does she like have a full-on seizure? Or does she just like fall on the ground, bloody nose?
She has a nosebleed for sure.
And at this point, they've gathered a crowd, including Dylan and Corey. So they're both there like, stop, Kat, get off the, you know, they're like in the parking lot of the bar and they're performing. And then it eventually basically comes out that Kat has been diagnosed with something. Do they say flat out that it's cancer?
I think so. I think it was leukemia or something.
Yeah. So it turns out she has leukemia and she was basically told, you know, you only have so much longer to live. And then you start to realize, oh, so that's why she was acting the way she was for so long. Because one, within her family, she felt like she can get away with it because what are they going to do? She's dying. What are you going to punish me? And you can also get the sense of why she's so frustrated. You know, this disease that she had no control over, kind of taking over her life. And so that's kind of the big revelation at the end. But the thing that brought the girls back together in the current timeline is there's an event they were supposed to never talk about. We still don't know what that is. That could be the concert, that could be something else, but there's something they're not supposed to talk about. They're supposed to forget, and for some reason they all drift apart. They were like the closest people in the world, and it seems like they haven't talked in 20 years. So something pushes
they
them
like
all
made
apart.
a vow not to
Yeah.
to connect again.
Yeah, which could be where, you know, there's lots of speculation Kat died, and that naturally pushed them apart because such a tragedy. Like, how especially at that age, how do you even address that? Then the gap just gets bigger and bigger as they get older, kind of thing. Just they did something that could, or something happened that could. I think a theory I threw out was Kat jumped into the hole or something, and just something weird happened. Or yeah, maybe they killed someone to keep Kat alive or something like that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, because there's all this like magic, sort of like vaguely witchcrafty, like, yeah.
But then what brings them back together is someone sends them a box, and it just says, like, I forget exactly what it says. It just says, "I know what happened," but then it also says, "Remember, you need to remember." So it's not so much like a threatening thing. It's almost like, you need to remember what happened too. I need you to remember.
Yeah, that's how we're reading it.
Yeah. They're all supposed to meet up and then open this box. So right towards the end is when Nora finally showed up, and then they're about to, you know, they're like hanging out, and so it's about to happen on that side. We have a theory because we shook the box around. There's a lot of interaction with stuff. A lot of hands-on interaction with stuff in this game.
We went full Christmas on it.
And we were shaking it around, and it sounded like a tape was rolling around in there. It's either just tapes of what they filmed, and so like whatever happened was also filmed, and that's what's going to be in there.
Mm-hmm.
Or it's her whole camera, potentially. And maybe it's going to be a thing like they threw that in the hole and it came back. So we'll see.
Could be.
We were already liking Autumn, but we kind of ended up something more with Autumn, partially also because we saw the sparks with Kat and Nora, and we didn't necessarily want to get in the middle of that. We liked that, and so we kind of, you know, connected with Autumn really closely, and that's kind of our romance path in the future as well. As you can see, you can get up to reconnected with her, and we did that. Nora, it's interesting, when we first played, you could get the reconnected was on here, and it said 0% of people. So I think it literally is impossible to like get enough good points with her to end up reconnected with her. So no one did it, so they just removed it as an option. You can't even get reconnected with her. And that's the tape 1 recap.
That's what you missed on Glee.
And then depending on what happens when I hit continue here, we'll see. But we did see one scene